What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and this is Sit or Sell. So it's been a minute since the last Sit or Sell video. I think the last one we did was in the middle of December, and the reason for that is that there just haven't been any sneaker releases. And also, I was kind of thinking about ending the series, but I realized after not doing it for like a month and a half, I miss it. What's up, bud? Say hi to everybody. Oh, he hates this. I should put him down. I'm sorry, Benny. I'm sorry, buddy. He's like a completely different dog when he's on the ground. He's just so happy, but when he's in my arms, he's like, nope. This is not it. And I guess let me know in the comment section down below whether you'd like me to continue doing this series, if it's something that you look forward to, or whether you'd like me to just end it, be done with it, or maybe if you think there's some changes that could improve the series. I'm all ears. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm trying to create content that's best for you guys, and in that way it helps me out because you guys are watching it. Oh, actually, before I forget, if you guys are on TikTok, make sure to give me a follow at @RealSethFowler or click the link in the top of the description. I just started posting a bunch of sneaker thrifting videos and like early sneaker reviews, so if you guys are interested in that at all, make sure to click that link. And I guess without further ado, let's just dive right into the releases in the first half of February 2022. So starting things off, on February 5th, we've got the Jound Bapesta. So it seems like over the last couple years, Bape is trying to expand the amount of brands that they collaborate with. Last year, we had the Stadium Good Bapestas, which I actually have a pair of and I absolutely love. My first pair of Bapestas ever, it's awesome. And this year, they're continuing the trend with the JJ Jound or Jound Bapesta. How to pronounce JJ Jound?
I'm Justin R. Saunders. I started Jound.
Jound. Got it. Got it. Should have done that months ago when I first started looking at Jound stuff. And honestly, as far as collaborations go, this is probably one of the simplest and cleanest collaborations to drop all year. I mean, it's essentially just a white and gray Bapesta with a very little bit of gray. So the shoe comes in a primarily white makeup accented by a light gray Bapesta star on the midfoot as well as a gray rubber outsole. And it seems like other than a couple small Jound hits on the upper of the shoe, that's pretty much it. And honestly, I'm down with that. I feel like there's something to be said for simplicity and minimalism, especially in footwear, and this is a very, very clean look. And as to whether I think these Jound Bapestas will sit or sell, I definitely see these shoes selling out. Then moving on to February 7th, we've got the women's Nike Dunk Low in gold and silver. So this shoe essentially is just a white, gold, and silver Nike Dunk Low. It seems like the paneling on the shoe is kind of mismatched, which I think is kind of a cool look. And based on what I'm reading about this shoe, it seems like the entire inspiration for this colorway is gold and silver, and that's why you've got metallic silver and metallic gold accents throughout. But probably the most interesting detail on this shoe is the metallic gold Nike little pendant thing at the bottom of the laces. It has this little gold necklace coming off the bottom of it. It's an interesting touch. I don't love it, but it definitely fits with that sort of gold and silver luxurious theme. But that's pretty much all there is to it with this colorway. It's a simple look with a simple concept, and honestly, I'm not really a big fan. I know there are people out there who probably love this shoe because they have a lot of gold and silver fits. Maybe the shoe would go perfectly with that, but it's not really for me, and I'm not sure exactly who's gonna grab this sneaker. That being said though, I'm sure people will be grabbing the sneaker, whether it's to wear or to resell, so regardless of how the sneaker looks, I definitely think this shoe will sell out. Then moving on to February 9th, we've got the Nike Air Max 95 Ironstone. So as far as I can tell, this shoe isn't a collaboration or a special edition, it's just a new colorway of the Air Max 95. But what I find kind of interesting about this colorway is that it seems like they took the Air Max 95 neons and just desaturated the colors. So instead of black, you've got browns, instead of greens, you've got more yellows. It's an interesting look, and honestly, for me, the saving grace is the suede that's used on the upper. It makes the shoe feel a lot more premium. It's also definitely a more toned down look than the original Air Max 95 neon. So if you like the shoe but you didn't like that colorway, this is a great option to go with. Personally though, I'm not in love with this shoe. The colorway isn't bad. Like I said, the materials on this shoe look really good, but at the end of the day, it doesn't wow me. And for me, to part with $185, which is the retail price of this shoe, the shoe itself has to be something that I actually want to wear on a regular basis, and this just isn't that for me. That being said though, it's not a bad look for the shoe, and if you love Air Max 95s and you want a new colorway of the shoe, this is a great way to go. You can't go wrong with the Ironstone look, but at the end of the day, I don't think there's enough people out there who really want to grab this shoe, so for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sit. Also dropping on the 9th is a shoe that I literally just reviewed. In fact, you guys should check out that video if you haven't yet, but it's the Adidas Bad Bunny Forum Power. So this shoe is Bad Bunny's 4th collaboration with Adidas, and unlike his previous collaborations, this shoe isn't just a standard Adidas Forum. Not that those other collaborations were standard Adidas Forums, but they were all set on the Adidas Forum silhouette. This shoe is actually a mashup of the Power phase on the bottom half of the shoe and the Forum on the top half of the shoe. And colorway wise, this shoe is nuts. It comes with a light tan base that's accented by blacks and oranges and maroons and greens. It's a pretty crazy looking sneaker, but I think the color is toned down just enough to where this sneaker still works with more subtle fits. And something else else that I mentioned in the original review of this shoe is that we're doing a collaboration with sneaker YouTuber Monsieur Banana, and she's dropping 3 different colorways on Apothecary socks. They're absolutely fire. And it's crazy because all 3 of these colorways actually go perfectly with this pair of sneakers. I've never had that happen before with one pair of shoes. It wasn't like black and white. And I think I'm gonna start taking a bunch of pictures of these socks with these shoes because they look fire. And actually, if you wanna grab any of the socks from the Monsieur Banana collaboration, it drops officially on February 11th at apothecary.com, which we've linked in the description below. So hey, if you grab the latest Adidas Bad Bunny collaboration and also grab the latest Apothecary collaboration, you could have a matching fit, and it would be a fire matching fit. And also, if I had to give the Apothecary socks a sit or sell rating, I'd give them a sell because they're my brand and I want them to sell, so that's the reason I'm doing that. It's a little bit biased, but it is what it is. As far as the Adidas Bad Bunnies though, I have no idea how limited these are going to be, but I definitely think these shoes will sell out. Dropping on February 9th, we've got the Ivy Park Adidas Stan Smith Dripped Ivy Heart. So apparently this shoe is supposed to be a Valentine's Day themed Ivy Park sneaker, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm struggling to see it. So basically what this shoe is an all-white tumbled leather Stan Smith that's been dipped in some sort of material, I'm not sure exactly what it is, and that's it. Now to be honest, I am actually a fan of dipped sneakers. It's not something you see a lot, but it usually gives the shoe a very cool effect, and honestly, on this shoe, it looks kind of clean. The one thing I don't totally get about this particular shoe is why did they choose to dip it in like a yellowish brownish color, especially on a Valentine's Day sneaker? It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if nothing else, it makes the shoe look dirty, and let's be honest, it kind of looks like you stepped in some other things. But again, I do like the dipped look. I just wish it was a different color, like a green or a pink or a red. I don't know, I just don't get this one. Maybe I'm not supposed to get it, but I don't think a lot of other people are gonna get it, and for that reason, I think this shoe is probably going to sit. Also releasing on February 9th, we've got another Ivy Park Valentine's collaboration or Valentine's themed collaboration, and that's the Ivy Park Adidas Ultra Boost Ivy Heart. Now this shoe looks a lot more Valentine's Day themed, and maybe I'm just boxing that holiday in as like the pink holiday, but I don't know, this shoe looks a lot more like a shoe that you would get on Valentine's Day versus the other shoe, which looks like you stepped in I don't know what. As you can see, this shoe comes in an entirely pink makeup, and this hot pink look actually isn't that bad on the Adidas Ultra Boost. I'm not like the biggest pink fan in the world. I know there's a lot of people out there who really love this shoe, so I can't hate on it, but it's a very, very pink shoe. But as we've seen in the past, Ivy Park Ultra Boost do tend to sell out, which makes sense because it's a Beyonce collaboration, and honestly, I'm pretty sure that this shoe will do the same and will probably sell out. Moving on to February 10th, we've got the acronym Nike Blazer Low in 2 different colorways. So the 2 colorways of this shoe that are dropping are the Midnight Maroon colorway and the Black colorway. And let's be real, both of these shoes are pretty wild looking. They both feature a plastic heel portion that has like 2-tone plastic and it seems to screw into the back of the shoe. And then you've also got sort of a torn up forefoot of the shoe. But why don't we start talking about the most interesting part of the shoe first, and that's this plastic heel portion. So if you look at this sneaker, you'll notice that the plastic part of the shoe seems to come in 2 different colors. And it turns out that the bottom color, or the color that's attached to the shoe, is actually the main base, and the top part, the pull tab portion, is actually removable and you can switch it out for some other colors. And personally, I kind of like the way that it looks better on the Black colorway because I feel like that hit of neon green is kind of a nice touch. On the Maroon colorway, they use black as the pull tab part. It doesn't really work as well for me, but I wouldn't be surprised if both shoes come with accent pieces that you can switch out as you go. And actually, one thing that I saw in the instruction manual for the shoe is that there's like this little dog tag that comes on the sneaker, which you can use as a screwdriver to undo the screw and remove the heel tab, which I actually thought was kind of a nice touch. It's something different, it's something out there. I mean, you've got to give it to Acronym. They always do wild things with their collaborations, and while I don't love everything that they drop, I appreciate that they're trying things that no one else is trying. But in addition to the plastic heel counter or heel portion of the shoe, you also have these really interesting cut details on the front half of the shoe. At first I thought it was like a tearaway upper, and you were sort of supposed to be able to pull at those little like flaps and kind of remove the top upper of the shoe. But when you look closer at those little cuts, it seems like they were specifically there just to kind of act as little flaps that kind of flop around on the side of the sneaker. I don't know what this is, but regardless, it's a super interesting collaboration. Like I said, I really appreciate that they're trying something completely off the wall, and personally, I'm going to be going for both of these colorways. I would prefer to get the Black colorway, but knowing the Nike Sneakers app, I'll be happy getting either one. And as I sort of alluded to in the last comment, I definitely think that both colorways, the Midnight Maroon and the Black colorway, will definitely sell out. Moving on to February 11th, we've got the restock of the ALD New Balance 993 in the taupe colorway. So these shoes originally released on ALD's website in this colorway and a brown colorway, and at the time I think this sort of taupe and blue colorway was a little bit more limited, and for that reason it was selling for a lot more. But it seems like now that this shoe is getting an official release on New Balance's website, this is the only colorway dropping, And maybe it turns out that the brown colorway is actually the more limited colorway. Not that that really matters, because honestly this blue colorway is way cleaner in my opinion, and this is a shoe that I've wanted for a long time. So the fact that I even have a pair, I'm stoked about. But if you were looking for that brown pair, things might get a little bit more expensive for you. That aside, this shoe is very clean. It comes with sort of a light cream or taupe colored suede upper, accented by some maroon hits as well as some blue mesh. And I think overall, even though this is a more subtle colorway of the New Balance 993s, it's definitely a very clean New Balance collaboration. Usually anything ALD drops in collaboration with New Balance is fire, and in my opinion, this is no exception. I mean, to be fair, I am kind of a New Balance fanboy, so really anything that they drop I'm going to be into, but this shoe in particular, perfect. That being said, because this colorway and this collaboration is relatively hyped up, I think there will be a lot of demand for this sneaker, and because of that, I definitely think this shoe will sell out. Next up, also dropping on the 11th, we've got the women's Air Jordan 5 Low Girls That Hoop. So this colorway is a women's exclusive release, obviously by the name and also the fact that it's a women's Air Jordan 5 Low. And according to Nike, the inspiration behind this colorway are these sun-bleached basketball courts that a lot of people play on growing up. What I really like about this colorway is the suede that they've used on the upper. I realize that suede is not a new material used on Air Jordan 5s, but on this particular colorway, it really works for me. But again, this is a women's only release, so if you're a larger footed dude, you probably won't be able to grab a pair of these. But as to whether I think these shoes will sit or sell, I honestly have no idea. I'm not sure how much stock they have of these shoes. I have no idea how much hype is behind these sneakers, but I'm gonna guess that these shoes will probably sit on shelves. And then finally, rounding off February 11th, we've got the first shoe to release from the Union LA Nike Dunk Low Passport Pack, the Pistachio colorway. I don't know what it is about this month, but for some reason, I've already reviewed like half the shoes that are dropping in February. I honestly didn't have that much content, so I've just been buying a bunch of early shoes. And this is one of the shoes that I reviewed, so if you guys want to check out that review, you definitely should. There might be a link at the top of the screen. If I remember, I always seem to forget, so there might not be. Just search it if you can't find it. So this shoe might be one of the most anticipated Nike Dunk Lows to release of the entire year. This collaboration was leaked last year and people were really excited about it then, and now as we get closer and closer to the release of the shoe, people are getting more and more excited. Apparently there are 3 different colorways that are slated to release, and this is just the first of the 3 colorways, and personally, like I said in the review for this shoe, this one is my favorite. This shoe comes with the midnight navy upper accented by light pistachio overlays, and what makes this sneaker even more interesting is that this shoe features a removable ripstop upper. There's honestly a lot of really cool details about this shoe that I cannot cover in this video, so if you guys want to check out the full review and learn everything that there is to know about this sneaker, make sure to check out my review. But as you probably could have guessed at this point, this shoe is incredibly hyped up, and so for that reason, I definitely think that the UNLA Nike Dunk Low Pistachios will sell out. Then moving on to February 12th, we've got the Air Jordan 5 Racer Blue. So this shoe bears a lot of similarities to some of the OG Air Jordan 5 colorways, in particular the metallic 5s. So as you can probably see, a majority of the upper of this sneaker is covered in a very creamy looking black nubuck, and the overall design is rounded off with bright racer blue hits on the midsole. I mean, let's be real, it's not that exciting of a release, but I feel like usually with Air Jordan 5s, simpler is better, and I think this is a perfect example of that. It's a new colorway, it's something that I don't think Jordan Brand has ever done before, but they kept it simple and they kept it clean, and it's a very, very wearable colorway. And because of that, I definitely see the Air Jordan 5 Racer Blues selling out. Then moving on to February 14th, we've got the aptly named Nike Dunk Low Valentine's Day. So this shoe, as you may have expected, comes in an entirely bright pink upper. And in kind of an interesting touch, a majority of the upper seems to come in a pink denim, which I've never seen done before. Then overlaid on top of the pink denim, we've got a more standard material with a pink tumbled leather. You've also got a suede Nike swoosh. However, this Nike swoosh is not your standard Nike swoosh. It's got this really interesting sort of like mesh skirt kind of sticking out from the side of it that kind of gives it these frills. It's an interesting look, not one that I love personally, but something that I could see a lot of people getting behind. One thing that I've got to say that I actually really like about this shoe is that there's a lot of different tones of pink in this sneaker. It's not just like a bunch of similar pink tones like we saw with the Ivy Park Adidas Ultra Boost. It's very different tones of pink. You've got very dark pink, you've got very light pink, and then all the sort of tones in between. So even though the shoe is an all pink shoe, it still has a lot of dimension to it. That said though, still not something that I would grab personally, but hey, it's not a bad looking shoe. And honestly, because it's a Nike Dunk Low and a limited edition version at that, I definitely see this shoe selling out. Then rounding off February 14th, we've got the Adidas Yeezy 350 V2 Compact in slate red. So this is actually the second colorway of the 350 V2 compacts to release. The first colorway was a slate blue colorway, which I actually reviewed, and in that review I said that the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 compacts are the most comfortable Yeezys I've ever worn, and I stand by that. For some reason, the extra padding that they added on top of the midfoot just makes this shoe feel like you're surrounded by pillows and you're walking on clouds, and I absolutely love that. And for the people who have been like hankering for an all red pair of 350 V2s, I always say hankering now, I don't know why I keep doing that. It's not something that I say on a regular basis. Now I guess guess to be fair, it's not an all red pair of 350 V2s. It's primarily red, but it does have some sort of brown hits, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't love, but it's still the closest thing we've ever gotten to an all red pair of 350s. And of course, because it's a brand new pair of Yeezy Boost 350 V2s, compact or not, it's still gonna be very popular, and I definitely see this shoe selling out. But finally, getting to the last day that we're covering in today's video, February 16th, the first shoe to drop actually comes in 2 different colorways, and that's the Nike Air Force 1 Low Luxe. So the 2 colorways that are dropping are the Summit White colorway and the Providence Purple colorway, and both shoes have a very premium and luxurious feel to them. I mean, that's obviously why they're called the Air Force 1 Luxe, because they're a luxurious pair of Air Force Ones. Now, while I'm not always the biggest fan of special edition Air Force Ones, because a lot of times they just kind of ruin the shoe, this particular version, these Luxe versions of the Air Force One, actually look pretty clean. Apparently, the idea behind these Luxe Air Force Ones is to create a high fashion version of the Air Force Ones, and because of that, they feature slightly more high-end materials, they feature sort of more embellished details. All around, it's a slightly more expensive and more premium feeling Air Force One. And I think out of the 2 colorways, I'm really digging that Providence Purple. I love purple, I'm a Ravens fan, you guys know that, but this particular Providence Purple looks kind of gray, and it's got this really cool, almost concrete look that I'm actually really into. Now, with that being said, I probably still won't buy these shoes just because I don't feel like I need to drop $130 on a pair of shoes that I'm probably never gonna wear, but I definitely do think there's a market for these shoes. I think there's a bunch of people in New York who probably shop at Kith all the time that will probably grab these shoes. I love Kith, by the way, no shade towards Kith, but it definitely seems like a shoe that would be in Kith. But I just don't feel like there's a big enough market for these sneakers, so for that reason, I don't know if I see the Air Force One Low Luxes selling out. And then finally, getting to the last shoe that we're covering in today's video, and probably the most hyped up, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Dark Marina Blues. So again, this is another shoe that I've already reviewed. If you guys want to check that out, there will be a link somewhere, whether it's on this video or just on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure you can find it. And I've got to say, I think the Air Jordan 1 Dark Marina Blues will probably be one of the most popular sneaker releases of the entire year. I know it's early to call it, but I think a lot of people are going to be hyped on this shoe. As you can probably tell from looking at this sneaker, this shoe definitely bears a resemblance to the Royal Air Jordan 1s. The only real difference is that the blue kind of extends down the eye stay of the sneaker and around the mudguard of the sneaker rather than being in the toe of the shoe. And honestly, it's not as clean as the Royal ones, but it's still a very good look, and it reminds me a lot of the Storm Blues. Material-wise, the shoe is nothing special. It's just kind of standard Air Jordan 1 leather, but at the end of the day, no one really cares about the leather that people use on Air Jordan 1s. As long as it's not like total garbage, people are still going to be into it. The colorway is clean enough, and I think no matter which way you slice it, this shoe will absolutely sell out. And as far as stock numbers, I don't know how good of a chance you're going to have at getting this shoe. I don't think it's going to be incredibly limited, but I also don't think it's going to be that easy to get. So for that reason, if you're trying to grab a pair of these, enter as many raffles as you can, and just cross your fingers because this one's not going to be easy. But with that, we pretty much wrap up Sit or Sell for this week. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on all of the sneaker releases that we talked about in today's video, whether it's the Bad Bunnies or whether it's the New Balances or really anything in between. So make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.